Today we're going to be talking about empowerment and empowerment, how it's perceived in our culture. Do you think we do more of that here? Like, do you think that's something that a lot of us embrace? Do we empower each other the way we're supposed to?
To be honest with you, it's so crazy as to how much that people need a little bit of empowerment and a little bit of encouragement. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit of that will go such a long way. But I don't think that it is such a huge part of our culture. You know what I mean? We talk about things that are not really somehow uplifting somebody, or or empowering them in any way, so that they could perform better as well. And I think that this is something that we need to make a habit of as well, especially amongst especially kids. I feel like it's at a very young age. And instead of going out all on them about the things they have done wrong and so forth, as they are kids and they have such an impression of mind and they still have a lot to learn. I think that just giving them a little bit of encouragement, giving them a positive feedback of the things they're doing right, and even when it comes to workforce as well. And I feel like employees should definitely work more on encouraging the people that work for them, and then in so many different ways, so that they can actually be more productive and more efficient as well. And this is my perspective of it as well, and I think that this is something that we need to strongly work on.
It's funny, like a while back I came across this video on YouTube, and it was basically about like how encouraging certain people can enhance their performance on multiple activities. And it was this story that they told about, like, there are two kids in a high school, and they both a member of the basketball team in that high school. And the coach sees one of the kids as someone that is like an overachiever. He pushes through his limits, and he always tries to exceed the expectation of his authoritarian figures around him. And the other kid, he kind of had like a negative, the opposite persona of that, and so he treated them in that manner. So whenever he see the kid that's like, he always encouraged him to do better, and he did do better. He ended up like scoring the highest points for all the games that they played in. And then the kid that he always suspected to be negative, he ended up like, proving him right. Like, he's like, he believed that this guy wasn't going to do anything, so he didn't do anything.
I think that really is it's when somebody encourages you, they will make you believe in yourself. You know what I mean? And that is one of the, like, anybody could give you anything, but that is worth so much more than any possible anything. You know what I mean? More than money, anything. If somebody makes you believe in yourself more, that is going to stay with you no matter what. You know what I mean? And you're going to act accordingly as well, because what you believe is, they say that what you see in the mind, what you believe in the heart, you will have in your hands. You know what I mean? So when somebody actually believes, when somebody encourages you, they are telling you the things they can see in their mind that you're capable of. You know what I mean? And if I come up to you and I tell you all the things that I know for sure you're capable of, and you didn't even see it in your right mind, I'll tell you, like, Johnny boy, I know you for sure you could do this, you got this, whatever it is that you want to, goals that you might have had, and I tell you about it, and I make you believe in yourself more. And that is that is such a strong value. You know what I mean? That is something you cannot even trade with anything else, because that's going to stay with you forever. And then you start to see it in your mind. It's one of the things Diary Dreams used to say. You start seeing it in your mind, because every time that I'm saying it, or every time that I'm saying it, you start to picture it. You start to feel yourself actually doing it, or scoring, or whatever. Maybe talks to get in front of that stage, whatever it is. You start to picture it, and then you start to believe it in your heart as well. And you're more likely then actually going to act accordingly after all the things that you have been hearing and all the things you've been visualizing of all that empowerment and encouraging. More likely to act accordingly. So that's why I say this is a better solution. If somebody's having an issue with somebody, it could be a partner, it could be your kid, it could be somebody you're working with as well. I feel like sometimes if you're all constantly commenting on the negative things and belittling them or demanding all the things they're doing, it is not going to change. You know what I mean? If anything, there's going to be more frustration on the other end. People will not even want to work there or be around you and so forth. But instead, if you want things to change, it's better to really improve and encourage them and tell them for how you perceive that person, how you imagine them doing the things that you know they're capable of. So I think encouraging people will definitely will make the other person work on the fact that okay, cool, this person obviously sees a whole lot more in me than I do about myself. And most of us is what we need that.
Yeah, we do, and we get so little encouragement nowadays. On all we need is just a little bit of push, a little nugget of faith in ourselves. And even this is scientifically proven, because if you've ever heard of this behavioral psychologist called B.F. Skinner, now that guy proved that animals that were positively rewarded for certain aspects for certain behaviors that they showed have a better chance of retaining the lessons that they've learned in the long term. So like if you were positively encouraged for certain things that you've been doing, say for example you've been trying to grow your skill in graphic designing, and then a bunch of your friends see you and they're like, you already have doubts about that skill, so when they come and confirm those doubts to you, it's like, I know a guy that does those better than you. Then you're gonna be like, oh man, I feel like I'm never gonna get to that place. But then if they come and they're like, for the level that you're in, like that is the best thing I've ever seen. Like I've never seen somebody at your level doing something like this. And then it just gives them that boost of confidence. Like this is something I learned in Toastmasters. It is one of the most empowering and encouraging environment that you'll ever be at, because if you think about it, public speaking is one of the most terrifying things that you could do as a human being. It's like one of the most common fears out there. But if you're giving a speech at Toastmasters, everybody else, even if you mess up, they're gonna encourage, they're gonna clap for you, they're gonna tell you like you did great, and you won't even think that you did bad because everybody else is giving you that positive feedback. Sometimes you need when it comes to harsh environments, you need kind of something that coddles you to the point where you don't care anymore. Something that gives you that like extra layer of armor. So that you're like stronger than you came into that.
It's true. And also though, when we talk about this and when we tell you guys, like we need to encourage and empower the people around us, we're not saying that to hide the truth from somebody as well. You know what I mean? Because there's no growth there. And I know that's the biggest misconception. I know somebody, I'm sure there's somebody out there listening to us right now and you want me to lie? No, that's not what we're trying to say. Is sometimes that when we deal with stuff, especially things that people are trying to learn, for example, it could be speaking, it could be coding, whatever the case might be. I just said earlier, and instead of commenting on the things that is just so bad about it, it's just acknowledging the steps that were taken as well. You know what I mean? So for whatever that you have been doing, this is actually a great step forward. But I still see a whole lot more that you can do, and I know you got it. You know what I mean? I know you could give a better speech. But for what you have done, what you have rehearsed, for the time that you had, this is actually amazing, performance or speech that you gave, whatever the case might be. And instead of just completely belittling it, because words are so powerful, by the way. So words are extremely, extremely powerful. I believe the most powerful thing in the world is word. You know what I mean? Because we create as we speak. Abracadabra. This is one of the things we've been saying for the longest time. You know what I mean? We literally speak all the things we want into reality. And it could be upon people can hear whatever we're saying as well, and that emotion, that energy will transcend into their reality as well. So whenever we address a certain thing, even though we're not happy about it as well, we could actually put it in a way that we are seeing so much of that person, we put a positive energy upon that comment that we have, and leave that person with much more energy, letting them know that they can perform better, do better, and we can actually if they challenge themselves, that anything is possible. So I don't want you guys to think that if somebody does bad, I'm going to tell them it's bad. Yes, of course, somebody needs to have a good comment, a good criticism is good as well.
Criticism.
It makes you better. Otherwise, you will not know where you're going wrong.
True.
But it also needs to be addressed in a way that, okay, all your effort also has been acknowledged as well for you to do it, whatever it is that you have done. But also that much more is also expected from you, needs to be clearly and nicely put, I guess.
So instead of telling people that you're not good enough, you can approach them in a different way and tell them like, look, I know you're trying your best, but I know you can be more than you are right now. Like I see a potential in you that you don't see in yourself right now. So if you kind of focus on what you're doing right now, you can reach the level that I know you're gonna go. That I know you're gonna reach at. So basically, like, you can either hurt and shatter their feelings whenever they're trying to do something, or you can empower them in a way.
Exactly, and that's how I see it as well. And especially when it comes to as I said earlier as well, like kids as well, and as they have, the impression of mind could easily be tempered with, you know what I mean? So whatever it is that you say to them, any kind of comment will be registered, you know what I mean? If they perform bad at school, or if they miss a simple silly question and your immediate reply to that is literally saying unnecessary negative word. You know what I mean? I was talking about the Dennis principle once. You know what I mean? If it's a kid if a kid grows up, Dennis you talk about, or the other. You know what I mean? And they start to, okay, cool, maybe I don't get this, and they starts to get D's, and then they go, okay, apparently I am Dennis. You know what I mean? I get D's and so forth, and then that person actually thinks that they're not really supposed to learn, or they don't get education as much and so forth. They actually change their perception of it. Like, they can't even imagine them understanding history or math, because at a young age somebody actually made them feel so bad as if they don't understand anything. So whenever you come across things like that as well, it needs to be dealt properly. You know what I mean? I think that, you missed this little point, but I know you got this next time, because all the positive affirmations that we need to tell, especially the young ones, we have got to be really cautious of that, because they're bound to register that. And then when they go amongst their friends as well, if they have that kind of energy, you know how they will get bullied this way. When you have that energy as well, people will use that as well, and whoever around you will constantly make you feel the same thing as well. So something to be really mindful of.
Yeah, and oftentimes most kids, like you said earlier, like if they believe that they grew up being like a Dennis, if they've been told that their entire life, there will come a time where they're going to believe that. And the funny thing is, if you test a fish by its ability to fly, it's not going to succeed, right? A fish is supposed to be in the water. And most kids, for example, if you take a kid that's supposed to be one of the greatest football players out there, him failing at maths, chemistry, biology is probably doesn't mean much to him. Like, if Cristiano Ronaldo didn't do that much, like in chemistry or physics, I don't think that would harm his future. Like, people need to prioritize that there are some people out there. I think people need to understand that there are some people out there that are good at certain things, and then they also have their downsides.
But yeah, that's something that you're gonna find out down the road, though. At the same time, though, especially at a young age, you know what I mean, your mind, I think, should be open for everything. That's my theory of it. You know what I mean? Of course, we have all this greatest athletes and so forth, but at the same time, not your career is not really written on the stone, you know what I mean? So you don't know that, you know what I mean? So having your mind ready and open and knowing that you can do anything and can be anything you want, I think that's a very strong mentality that kids need to have as well. Of course, as you said, that anything, if if somebody wants to become an athlete or a musician, and definitely that's the kind of career they should pursue. But at the same time, they should be aware that they are much more capable of that as well if they want to. You know what I mean? If Cristiano Ronaldo wants to be other than a soccer player, he can.
Yeah, don't you think the whole
system... He can, though. That's what matters. It's the fact that he can do it. So at least making himself ready for anything, and then pursuing whatever he wants to, whatever his talent, whatever his skill is down the road, and pursuing that. I completely agree with that.
But don't you think the whole system is set up in a way where people like that are supposed to feel like they only have certain options available to them?
And that's why we need people to encourage one another. You know what I mean? So that's why we need people the parents and everybody, the school system, whoever, create a system where an environment where everybody feels empowered, and then whenever they need to have a good kind of criticism as well, they could get it in a way that could uplift them and make them better. But having that kind of environment will make them feel like they can do whatever and be whatever they want to be. At the end of the day, though, they could choose the path they want to take. I think that's my understanding of it, you know what I mean, especially when it comes to young kids. I feel like they should make their mind ready for anything, you know what I mean, because you're human. You can create and do whatever it is that you want, you know what I mean, and then you choose when the time comes as well.